Welcome to Let's Talk R&R with Tony and Lisa. Today's podcast, are you sitting or are you standing? Let's go to the throne.
So I was spending time with Jesus, and you know what I learned?
What did you learn?
I learned that there's more to the waiting room than just being placed there to annoy me.
Okay.
I'm so glad I entertain you. I'm appreciative that I'm able to entertain you. Okay, so listen.
Just to annoy you. You're the only one.
Well, that's what I feel. Listen, come on. I'm not the only one that feels this way.
Okay.
Right?
No, you're right.
Waiting rooms. This is placed here to annoy me. That's what I thought.
Okay.
Because I'm that important.
Absolutely.
Don't make faces. Okay, so think about it. When you go to the doctor's office or anywhere that you have to wait, right? What do they say? Sign your name and they say, please have a seat while you're waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So oftentimes I would stand, have a seat while you're waiting, Lisa, and the doctor will be right with you. Yeah, right. That's my thought. Right with me. Please. That's what you always say. Then you leave me out here for 4,500 minutes and then you call me in to go into the smaller waiting room.
Right.
Because you do this to upset me.
Right.
Test my Christianity. That's not what this is about. But anyway. So, I used to stand because you know what standing does. Mm-hmm. Standing is, you see me, right? Yeah, you didn't forget about me. Standing shows my frustration, my impatience.
Back and forth.
I'm standing
pacing.
over you. I'm peeking. I'm looking at the sheet. I'm looking at who else is in the room. You called somebody before me because I was here first. I got to make sure I could get to you first to say that. Mm-hmm. And if they call, I dart to the door. But the reason that they say, please have a seat while you're waiting, think about it. When you sit down, what does that give you? That gives you rest, right? And when we're sitting in a waiting pattern for Christ, it's important that we sit and rest in that space of waiting. Rest in Him while we're waiting.
Yeah.
But now think about what's in the waiting room. Magazines, materials to educate you. So while we're waiting, God gives us the ability.
A TV.
Hello. But God gives us the ability to learn something about ourselves in the space of waiting. Something about Him.
Right.
Perhaps about the thing we're waiting for. Perhaps while waiting, we decide, maybe that's not the right thing for me at all. Right?
You really don't need that.
I don't really need that. Mm-hmm. So you take in what's going on, but then what else is in the waiting room? There's other people waiting as well.
Right.
People that have been waiting longer than you that can school you on how to wait. People that have been there shorter times than you that you can help in their waiting process. Right? We can learn from one another. We can commune. We can educate one another. There's something that we can get out of other people that are in this waiting space. Waiting is not just about, let me just annoy Lisa and frustrate her. And they sit behind the door and giggle and sniggle.
I should hope it's not.
Listen, I'm going to put that out there that it is not that. But at the end of the day, this is about God having us wait.
Right.
This is not a joke. This is not something that He just does to us. There's something that happens in the waiting.
Right.
As we sit in that seat, like I said, and rest.
But there's growth in the waiting.
There's a growth in the waiting. But here's the beautiful thing, that when God says to you to have a seat while you wait, that's the most comfortable seat because it's created just for you. It's like that memory foam, right? Sit down and just, because you're resting in Him.
Just engulfs you.
Psalms 23 tells you about resting beside still water.
Right.
And then what does it say? Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. So my behind don't need to stand up and walk nowhere. I need to sit. Because as I was sitting in Psalms 23, I was beside still water. But as I got up and walked, where was I? The valley of the shadow of death. Right? But I think it's important for us to understand, are we sitting or are we standing?
Yeah.
And then make sure you're in tune to hear when they call your name. When God says, let's go, it's time to get up. You can't be in your waiting space so focused on how many others got called before you, what everybody else is doing, what are they here for, what does God have for them, that you miss when He calls you and says, it's time to get up. So I
Right.
think it's important for us to really think about, when I'm waiting, am I sitting or am I standing? Am I uncomfortable in my waiting because I am standing? When he said, just rest in me while you're waiting.
Am I standing? Am I being impatient?
Right.
Am I not allowing him to do what it is you've asked him to do?
Right.
You know?
Right. Or that he said he was going to do.
Mhm.
Is my standing saying to God, come on, God, hurry up. I'm ready to go. Am I going to get a false start by standing?
Say that.
Am I going to move too soon by standing?
My baby said false start.
Come on, see that? I got in the football. Come on now. Come on now. You see, I listen.
She learning, family.
But but also think about it. If God says, sit and rest while you wait, perhaps he's resting you up because you don't know if you have to take off running when he says get up.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Perhaps in the resting, he's restoring and replenishing you for what's around the corner that we don't know is there. Because every wait is not because we asked for something.
Yeah. You can't rest standing up.
I tried it.
Can't do it.
My knees buckled. I fell. It didn't work.
I mean, even in playing football, when, the offense is on the field, they tell us to sit down, get off our feet.
Right.
So we go to the
because you
bench.
had to be prepared for the game.
We gotta be rested up for the next time we go on the field.
Yes.
So it's the same thing. You can't rest standing up. You can't. And when we're talking about standing up in this sense, we're talking about the aggravation of waiting, the impatience of waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Not resting in the waiting
and in
growing
the promise,
in the waiting
right?
in the promise of God.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I really want to talk about that. I'm beginning to learn how to comfortably sit as I wait.
That's deep.
And be content.
That's deep. Because a lot of people wait, but how do you wait?
Right. They're not comfortable. They're sitting on the edge of the seat.
Yeah.
Wondering if God forgot, wondering if it's going to come to pass. But there has to be a contentment that happens in that waiting, which means I'm okay no matter what, because I know God got me.
Yeah. And I was going to say, even in the waiting, are you in your waiting okay if what you prayed for doesn't come to pass?
Right.
If it's not a no, or if it's a not right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Are you okay with that in your waiting?
Right. Because think about it. Sometimes you're waiting for a certain doctor, but you get a different one. And because your picture was so focused on this doctor, you miss what the gifts the other one came with. Mm-hmm. You miss the healing that could happen at the moment because you say, no, it should be the other one. Right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes we're waiting for something, but God says, I got something better. Take this. No, because that's not what I had a picture of what it should be, God. So
that's
push that to the side. And he's like, really? That's what we're doing?
That's not what I asked for.
Clearly, if Lord, I gave you something, it's better. It's what you need. Everything you ask for that you're waiting for is not what you need. Amen. But then also in the waiting, you're preparing me for that thing that I say I want. I may want it now, but I'm not ready for it now.
Right.
So just sit and wait.
Sit and wait.
Sit and wait.
Take a seat on the bench.
So yeah,
your number will be called soon.
Come on, say that. One thing God will not do is forget about you.
Say that.
He will not forget about you. And he hasn't taken their eyes off of you while you're waiting.
Yeah. He know you're waiting.
Oh, absolutely. He knows. You don't have to keep checking to see if your name on the list. How much longer? You know. He got us.
Unlike the doctor's office. Oh, you were here. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that you had checked in.
He forgot about you.
Yeah. Didn't do that. Been there, done that, as they say. Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, I feel like you were okay. You all right now? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
So, are you sitting or are you standing?
I'm doing whatever my God tells me to do. If he tells me to stand and wait, I'm standing.
Okay.
But you know what? It's funny. I read something that Joyce Meyer had in her book, and it says, This little boy is in church,
Mm-hmm.
and he keeps standing up at the quote unquote wrong time.
Mm-hmm.
And his mother's saying, sit down, sit down, sit down. And finally she says, boy, if you don't sit down, when we get home, I'm going to give you the business.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I'll sit down, but I'll stand up on the inside. So I will be
Okay.
sitting down, but standing up on the inside.
Okay. All right.
And that is not my story. That is Joyce Meyer. I want no problems.
Right. No problems.
No problems. No problems. No, here's the thing. You have to figure out if you need to be sitting or standing.
Mm-hmm.
We can't define your wrong or right.
Oh, that's true.
But be
You're
in
right.
tune enough to know when God says to sit and wait, sit, rest, and take in the benefit in the waiting space.
Mm-hmm.
But if he tells you to stand, get ready.
Get ready.
Get ready, but don't stand when he says to sit, and don't sit when he says to stand.
All right.
There you go.
There you have it. All right, family. Love and blessings. Love and blessings. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk R&R with Tony and Lisa. Follow us on Instagram at let's_talk_R&R, where we welcome your feedback.